Good morning, it's Mark here, and this is your Monday morning update from Coffee Break Languages. I'm the founder of Coffee Break Languages, and I always like on a Monday morning to have a little coffee break with you. Now, there wasn't one last week, and the reason for that is last week was the 1st of August, and we send out our Adventures newsletter on the 1st of August, so that replaces the Monday email and the video. Now, if you're not yet subscribed to the Monday email and the Adventures newsletter, then make sure you go to coffeebreaklanguages.com/newsletter, and you'll be able to click on this link up here to make sure that you're subscribed to that newsletter. It's a great newsletter which provides lots of content. There are reading passages, there are cultural pieces of information, and an update on everything that's happening here at Coffee Break, and that's every 1st of the month. So as I say, make sure you're subscribed to that if you're not already subscribed. However, it is Monday the 8th of August, and today I thought I would just have a coffee with you, and you can find out a little about what's coming up this week on Coffee Break Languages. We've got a number of podcast episodes this week, starting with Coffee Break Italian. Now, Season 3 is coming to the end of the first half, so with Episode 20, we've got something very interesting indeed, and that is introducing a new tense, the passato remoto, which is a special tense used to talk about things that happened in the past, but in a particular way. So we'll be introducing this tense, look at how it's formed, and helping you recognise it when you're reading Italian texts. So something very exciting for episode 20 of Coffee Break Italian Season 3. And we also have Coffee Break German Season 3, episode 20, also out this week. We're going to be doing a review of all the content covered in Coffee Break German Season 3, lessons 11 through to 19. So there's lots of interesting grammar topics there and language points that we can practice with this episode. So that's Italian and German. For French, we have the Coffee Break French Magazine Season 2, Episode 9 coming out this week. And that is a historical episode in the sense that it's about a historical aspect of France. We're talking about Marie Antoinette, a very famous person in French history. So you can find out more about Marie Antoinette in that episode. And we also have our Coffee Break Spanish Magazine Season 4, Episode 9 out this week. And that is about the town of Cádiz, the city of Cádiz in the south of Spain. And again, with a historical slant on that one. So you can look forward to more podcast episodes then this week in French, German, Spanish and Italian. Coming up this week, again on our club, we have content every Monday, Wednesday and Friday for you in listening materials on Mondays. So today we've got new listening materials in the club. On Wednesday there's new reading material, and on Friday we have 2 new video lessons in each of the languages, French, German, Spanish and Italian. Again, if you want to find out more about the club, then you can click up here. There should be a link up there right about now. Okay, so that's the club and our main podcast episodes for this week. We also, of course, are continuing our masterclass. The masterclass is our advanced course, well, our late intermediate course for learners of French and Spanish, and we're into Module 2 now. Now, Module 2 in French is all about pronouns, so our masterclass learners are going through direct object pronouns, indirect object pronouns, little words like y and en, and so on. And in Spanish, our learners are working through this month our module on tricky verbs. So verbs that you think you kind of know what they mean, but actually they've got lots of other interesting meanings. So all masterclass learners, we hope that you're enjoying the masterclass and the Module 2 is providing lots of challenging material for you with all the support that you need, of course, from our tutors. So that's the masterclass. Now, also, obviously, our social content continues. So on Facebook, we continue to publish materials on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays in French, German, Spanish, Italian, English, Chinese and Swedish. So you can look forward to all of our content there on Facebook, and on Instagram we'll be posting content this week, and on Twitter too. So there's always something for you on social media. So make sure you're following us on Instagram, Twitter and on Facebook to benefit from all of that. However, there's something new this week too. Yes, we have decided to go down the road of TikTok. We are very excited to launch our Coffee Break Languages TikTok account. And the TikTok account is going to be providing an opportunity for you to practice your language skills in a different way. So if you're already on TikTok, then just search for Coffee Break Languages and you'll see some familiar faces there. If you're not on TikTok, then you can download the app and find us on Coffee Break Languages, and I'll put a link in the description of this video to help you find our TikTok account, and if you want, you can sign up for TikTok and start using TikTok to help you with your language learning. I think one of the things that we always try to do with any new development is experiment a little and try to see if this is something that our learners, that you will find useful in your language learning. So TikTok is an experiment. We're seeing how it goes. We've put some content together, some content which is really short language learning. Imagine like really espresso, a very small espresso chunk of language learning. But that's what it's all about, taking these little bits of language learning regularly, and the more of that kind of content that you can get, the better. So do let us know what you think of our Coffee Break Languages TikTok. If you are watching the TikTok videos on TikTok, then do make sure you like them, you follow us, and post a comment, or indeed with some of the videos on TikTok, you can even duet. So you can basically have a conversation with Francesca or Thomas or whoever, and that way you can post your own conversation with Francesca on TikTok. It's a little bit new for me, certainly, so hopefully it will all make sense, and we're looking forward to seeing how this experiment will go. Talking of experimentation, I think there's actually a nice link to language learning here, because let's face it, when you're learning a language, you're constantly experimenting, you're constantly trying to work out, would this word work in this scenario, or is this the right verb to use, or have I got that tense right? So you're experimenting all the time, and I think that's a great way to think about language learning, because the more you experiment, the more you'll get results, and the more you'll find out whether what you're saying has the right effect. So if you're in a situation, you're perhaps at a market and you're trying to buy some tomatoes in the market, and you're thinking, okay, do I use a partitive article? I would like some tomatoes, and if you use that partitive article, do you get the number of tomatoes that you want? Do you just get some, or do you get a kilo of tomatoes or something like that? A bit of a strange example there, but the idea is you're experimenting with the words that you think are right, and if you get the result that you're looking for, then they must be right, or at least you've been understood, which is the key thing always. So I would very much advise you and suggest that you do think about language learning as an experiment. You're constantly trying out new things. You're constantly seeing if things will work. And I'd love to hear your stories of this. Have you tried something and it's worked? Or have you tried something and it hasn't worked? Have you experimented with the language in some particular way? There are lots of ways to experiment with language. I know that some learners really enjoy being creative in language learning, and being creative in the terms of using the language in a variety of ways. So perhaps you are interested in poetry. So perhaps you could write a poem in the language that you're learning, being creative, experimenting in different ways, using the words and the letters of the language that you're learning. So let me know in the comments how you experiment with language. I'd love to read about this. And of course, make sure that you check out our new Coffee Break Languages TikTok. We're looking forward to having your thoughts on that. And as I say, it's an experiment. We'll see how it goes. We're very interested to see how the whole thing goes. I would like to finish by, of course, wishing you a happy week of language learning. I hope that you get the chance to use your language, to experiment with your language this week. And in the meantime, happy coffee breaking.